I kept maxing out my Claude Code limit every single session, until I found 6 settings that cut my token usage in half. First problem. Right now I have no idea how much I'm spending or how full my context is. I'm just typing in blindly. But the problem is you can't optimize what you don't see. Let's fix that. We are gonna display the status line. Hey Claude, can you show me model name and context percentage with a progress bar and the session cost I have so far? With one command, I can already see how much I used of my context, so I'm at 3% with the progress bar, and how much money did I burn in this session. Tip 2. Clearing the context when switching through tasks. Let's imagine this. You are having a long conversation, so you are talking to Claude for 30 minutes, 1 hour to build something really complex. The context window is big, but it's not unlimited. So with 1 million tokens, you can say, hey, I'm gonna talk with Claude for, let's say, 30 minutes, 1 hour. So you can think of your messages like a snowball, right? So the first message that you have, it's really small. The second one adds up. So the snowball becomes a little bigger. So on and so forth. So by the end, when we get to, let's say, 30 minutes of talking with Claude, we can have 200 messages, but at 200, we are filling up the entire capacity that our context window has. So how do we prevent this from happening? When you are switching through tasks, you're gonna use a clear command. So let's say I'm talking about one topic. I wanna build an app with, let's say, a login screen and a report, right? So the login screen, it's one topic. This is the login screen that we are building. While I'm developing the login feature, start to end, although I can have, let's say, 200 messages, keep the context window. This is fine. But if you switch to building a completely different topic, like a reporting page in your app, between these two, you must clear your context. This is a must. If I take this session as an example, for now I'm at 14%, right? So if I will do clear, we can see it dumped all the information that it previously had. Let's compare what was cleared up and what was kept. So if we do context and we zoom a little bit, we are gonna see that the messages part dropped to already close to 0% after clear. If I show you a different window without any clear, this is almost 6%. Long story short, the messages are dropped, everything else, like skills, memory files, even your Claude.md, which is down below, Claude.md, these ones are kept. This is why when switching topics, it's best practice to use /clear. Number 4, this one I didn't know about for a really long time. /effort. So Claude thinks before it answers. Think of it like this. It reasons through the problem, and the thinking part costs 5 times more than reading your code. So what do we actually do to optimize the token consumptions? Change the effort level. If you have a simple task, change the effort to low. We have low medium, high, max, auto, and we also have ultra think, which turns into a rainbow. For hard problems, turn it to high. But if you have something like changing a variable name or fixing a simple bug, you can turn it to low. This way, the effort level is calibrated with the difficulty of the problem you're trying to solve. If you want to turn on ultra think for just one task and then come back to the baseline, you would type ultra think. And it only applies to the current prompt. Every other question or task after this, it comes back to the baseline. 80% of the time, I keep the effort level at medium. Only when I need to, I go to ultra think or high or even max. So consider this while you are working. How difficult is the problem that you are trying to solve? If you think it's simple, then go to low. Number 4. Let's say Claude is working on something and you want to ask it a quick question. Hey, what does this function do? Can you explain it to me? Well, if you type that as a normal message, it stays in the conversation. It will reread it forever while you are still in that session, and this burns your tokens. Here's what to do instead. You are gonna do /btw, by the way, ask your question, and it will answer to you, but without saving it in the memory. One catch, it can read new files or run code. Use this command just if you have a quick question. In action, I just have one new empty Claude Code session and I'm gonna ask it using my voice-to-text tool. Hey Claude, can you tell me what topic is trending right now regarding AI? Give me top 2 topics I should talk about. Midway, I'm gonna ask it something. But hey, can you focus on Claude Code topics only? So now I used a regular message, yeah? I'm gonna do the same in a different terminal, but using slash by the way. Hey Claude, tell me 2 topics that are trending right now in AI. Can you only focus on Claude Code topics, please? Okay, that was one of my hooks. So you heard the sound. Whenever one terminal needs my input or has a reply, it plays a sound. We can already notice the difference. So when I used BTW, it finished faster, right? Now let me explain why this works. Every time you send a message to Claude Code, Claude gets everything. Your system prompt, your memory, and every single line in your conversation. Think of it like this. We are having a conversation and you have message 1, 2, 3, bam, 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 bam. So by the time you are asking your message number 13, Claude reads everything, meaning the MD file, the system prompt, plus, and this is the key part, messages 1 to 29 plus the 30th message, right? So what happens if mid-conversation I send my quick questions as regular messages? They will add up. So from 1 to 29, I'm rereading every message sent as regular one, right? As opposed to if, let's say, number 2 and number 3 were questions asked while Claude was working, and these ones were regular messages, right? They were added here, right? As opposed to using one, and instead of sending them as normal messages, I used BTW, right? So now what happens? By the time I am at message 30, I will only have 1 to 27, right? So I just saved 2 messages. This is what we want. As long as you use BTW, they are not read one more time and passed along through the conversation. That's why your first few messages are very cheap, but then suddenly you hit the limit. So this is why this happens. Okay, so those tips were the easy ones. Now, let me show you the ones that I found. They take a little bit more time to set up, but make a bigger difference. 5. Keep CLAUDE.md small and smart. The official rule is to keep it under 200 lines, but here's the real trick. If you have 200 lines, but they are not used properly, it is as bad as having 1000 lines inside the file. So what to do instead? You should use it like a table of contents. So from CLAUDE.md, you should point to other files and organize it really well, so the other ones are loaded into context only when Claude needs it. Let's see an example. So this would be the table of contents, and we are basically pointing to other chapters, right? So if CLAUDE.md was a book, this would be the table of contents, and Claude knows it every time you start a conversation with it, but you only load the chapters, the extended versions of the information, when we need it. Here are 2 examples from CLAUDE.md pointing to different files. We have a section called System and Scripts, and we actually let it know what is the path. This way, it only goes to that path when it needs to, so we don't burn out the tokens each and every time we start a conversation. The second example is building a mini-map. So I have a skill called Remotion Real, and I build this mini-map, like a list of capabilities that I wanted to load only on demand. For example, this skill can do multiple things. One of it is building B-rolls, right? So it generates B-rolls when I need it. It will only go to read the entire capability when it needs to. Let me explain it this way. If you think of CLAUDE.md as a book, there are 2 aspects that matter. First one, number of lines, and second one is organization. So let's think of a book, right? What do we have? We have a table of contents. This is chapter 1, 2, 3, and you have the detailed version of the chapter, right? So keeping the number of lines up to 200, this is the official recommendation from Anthropic. In practice, I've worked with it up to 500, but not more. If you exceed 500, I think you are not doing a very good job. So it needs to be well organized and lean. So this is the first aspect. Second one is how well you organize it. Meaning, is it structured well enough so that Claude understands, hey, if I need more information about chapter 2, then go to this file and load the entire content of that file into context. If I need more information about chapter 3, then load chapter 3. Disconnect MCP servers you are not using. Each MCP server adds its own tools to the context, and that costs tokens every single message. Let's say you have 5 servers connected, but you are only using one today. If you are connected to all the other 4, you are wasting tokens. Disconnect what you don't need today. Here are 3 simple commands to disconnect what you are not using right now. Step 1. Here's what we have connected in this moment. We are gonna run /mcp and I see all the connected ones. I have some scrapers for Apify, browser automation Playwright, context 7 for documentation, right? Let's say I want to disconnect the browser automation because I will not use it today. So I will run this command, Claude.mcp remove Playwright, and check that Playwright is not connected anymore in a new session. What we see here in this session are all the MCP servers loaded at the beginning of the session. So if I open a new terminal after I executed the command, MCP to check out what we have, Playwright, it's not here in the list. Step 3, let's say tomorrow I need it back. So what do? Well, I will go ahead in my terminal and add it back. I will just add and use the full add MCP command. I created a cheat sheet with all 6 settings. You can grab it in the first link in the description.